channel. I am Timmy Treacle, and today I am reviewing the movie The Conspirator. Now, this was released on September 11th, 2010. It is an American historical drama movie that received mixed to positive reviews with critics. Currently holds a 7 out of 10 on IMDb, a 55% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 83% on Google. And Roger Ebert gave it 3 out of 4 stars. Now, it had a $25 million budget and only brought in $15.5 million at the box office, which is a real shame. It was directed by Robert Redford and written by James D. Solomon. And it stars James McAvoy, Robin Wright, Evan Rachel Wood, Kevin Kline, Tom Wilkinson, Stephen Root, Justin Long, and Norman Reedus. And it centers around the characters of Mary Surratt. Mary Surratt, if you don't know who she is, she was one of the co-conspirators for the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. And she was the first woman to be executed in the United States. Her daughter, played by Evan Rachel Wood, her character is Anna Surratt. That is her daughter. She has a son, John Surratt, who was actually involved in the assassination plan. But the first thing is they were just going to kidnap the president at that time and hold him until all the Southern troops were released from the prison camps and whatnot. But then they decided against that and went another route. And what they planned to do was John Wilkes Booth was going to kill the president, which he succeeded. And then his other conspirators were going to kill the vice president and secretary of state to basically make our country in a panic to where, who's going to be running the country. Because at that time, I don't believe that the line of succession went past the secretary of state, which is why they were going to attempt to do all three. But it didn't end up that way. They ended up only succeeding in killing the president, which John Wilkes Booth did. He was cornered and killed in a bonfire several days later. His conspirators were caught and tried and given the death penalty. Mary Surratt, for years, for a year, claimed that she was innocent. She had nothing to do with it. In my opinion, believe they executed an innocent woman. I think she may have overheard the conversation, but I don't think she was involved in the assassination plot or any of that. She ran a boarding house there in that town, and it was frequented by John Wilkes Booth and his buddies. And I think she was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And back then, they were looking for swift justice. There was no evidence. You had testimony and very little evidence. And James McAvoy's character, Captain Frederick Aiken, was assigned to defend her. And these are spoiler alerts, so if you haven't seen the movie, either mute this review or don't watch it until you see the movie. When I'm done with the spoilers, I will give the camera a thumbs up so you can watch it again. But she, like I said, she claims her innocence, but she didn't want to turn her boy in. Her boy was in hiding. He had left several weeks earlier before the assassination attempt. The prosecuting attorney had his way with taking the defense's witnesses and turning them against him. And that hurt his case, and a lot of things hurt his case. But when her daughter testified that she had nothing to do with it, that it was her brother that was involved, they still didn't believe it. And so Captain Frederick decided to go to a judge because after she was found guilty and sentenced to death, he went to a judge to get a stay and get a new trial for her, which he granted. And it was set for her to have a jury trial of her peers. And when he was telling her this news, the then president of the United States overturned that, and basically she was to be executed the next morning with the rest of the conspirators. There was 4 in total. Of course, they were hung for everyone to see, and after they put the rope around their neck, they put these sacks on their head for I don't know what reason. I don't know if it was so they could spit or scream. I don't know what the whole point of that was. But I do think, in my opinion, again, that they what the hell am I talking about? They executed an innocent woman, in my opinion. And that's all the spoilers, too. Robin Wright was excellent in this movie. And James McAvoy, the whole cast was great. I really wish this would have done more money at the box office. This is an important part of our American history. And it's sad that movies like these don't do well at the box office. You know, and that's why America's falling behind. Is we just don't care. And yeah, this movie is fantastic. I loved it from start to finish. It gives a different perspective on what happened. Although they don't pay a lot of attention to the details surrounding the president's death and whatnot, but this movie is just it just shows you how things were different then as they are compared to now. And a lot of innocent people have been put in prison who have been released because of evidence, and that's the great thing that has happened with forensics. But had she even had a jury trial, she may not have been sentenced to death. She was initially given a life sentence for her crimes, and that was voted on by the judge and jury in the first trial. But then the Secretary of State, which ended up being the acting president, overturned that, and she ended up getting the death penalty. And like I said in my spoilers, what happens. But yeah, this is, in my opinion, something that really should have been looked at more. And I really wish they would have took the time to see that she had nothing to do, with the plot. And at least in my opinion, she didn't. But we all have our own opinion. I'm sure everyone else is going to have their own. But I feel they executed an innocent woman. As far as it goes with the conspiracy to kill the president and the vice president and secretary of state. I think she may have overheard it, but I think that's as far as it went. And I think her son was a coward for not coming forward and taking responsibility. Of course, nothing can be changed about it now, but it's just it really makes you think about what really happened and who was actually responsible. Besides, we know John Wilkes Booth was. I mean, he was obvious, but I love history. I love it even more as now that I'm older. But this movie is excellent. I love the characters, the directing, writing, everything was great in this movie. So definitely check it out if you haven't already seen it. With that being said, I'm going to give The Conspirator a 10 out of 10 and 2 thumbs up. Definitely check this movie out. It is freaking worth it. Other than that, in the comment section below, give me your thoughts and opinions on the movie if you've seen it. And let me know what some of your favorite historical drama movies are. for me, I love The Patriot, Braveheart, Full Metal Jacket. Just great movies. But other than that, I thank you guys for watching yet another movie review. Look forward to more movie reviews and top tens here shortly. Also, look forward to more movie reviews revolving around my 31 days of October. I didn't get to watch a horror movie today. I was visiting with my father, which is always a good time. But yeah, definitely check this movie out. Other than that, I thank you guys for watching and check you later.